guys, it is Ray and Ronnie, and we are here in Ronnie's closet. Today we're going to be doing a little chit chat with the both of us. Yeah, so I need to be looking at the camera and not up there.
I was looking at you.
I'm talking about myself, okay? Because I keep looking over there at myself. Instead of looking at the camera right here. Today we're going to be doing, you're looking at the thing, you're not looking at the camera.
I was looking at you.
No, you weren't, you was looking up there. You were looking up there.
When you started talking, I started looking at you.
No, you weren't.
I was.
But okay.
I know where I was looking.
Okay. Today we're going to be having a little conversation about our relationship and age gap relationships in general. Just kind of because we've received a lot of people that message us regarding being in an age gap relationship or trying to navigate,
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So we're here just to talk to you about a little bit of our experience and being in an age gap relationship and what we've learned along the way to get us to this point that we are right now. Engaged!
What fool engaged to you?
We're engaged,
what fool?
Okay? We're engaged, okay. What fool? This fool.
Did I fall and hit my head?
I don't know.
Twice?
But we not looking in the past. We just going straight forward. Okay, so I don't know where we got this from.
I don't know where we got it. I don't know.
Probably
I don't think
Aldi.
so.
I think we got it from Aldi. Popping open the bottle. Here we go.
I had a cork, so I doubt it came from there.
Guys, watch how much he fills my cup
Oh my
compared
God.
to his. Let's see here. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay, let's get serious.
I was being serious. I was trying to help other guys out.
Oh my goodness.
Don't get caught.
Oh my goodness. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Okay, so I went on our Facebook page and my own personal Facebook page and I asked some of my followers if they had any questions that they wanted us to answer, and I got a few. So let's just start off by answering some of the questions and then see where the conversation leads, okay?
I think one of the ones that really sticks out in my mind, a triumph. And you were looking around and you turned around and I seen the look on your face, the smile on your face. It was just priceless. You were like the happiest girl in the entire world, like in disbelief, like Alice in Wonderland, only super happy, not scared or nervous or anything like that. Just like, wow, just, I thought your face was going to break. You were grinning so big. That was one. Let's see. When you had the one fashion show where you had the mask on, and I went with your mom, and we met up afterwards, and people were coming up, and you were introducing us, and you seemed like really happy at that point too.
Yeah, I was happy at that point. I think we had, had a lot of trials and tribulations in our relationship, and at that point it was just like everything was laid out on the table. It was not like any more secrets going on. It was just like kind of like a breath of fresh air and a sigh of relief as to like not, being open with everyone, no matter if I knew them or if I didn't know them. I didn't really care what their opinion was at that point. It was just me basically thinking about my happiness and our happiness together, and that you made me happy, and that I loved you, and that I didn't care what anybody else thought. So I will say that.
So you did hit your head real hard when you fell.
My favorite memories of us together would have been, we had took the kids, we took them to, I think we took them to Chicago or something like that. And we were all together, and just as important, because it was my favorite memory, because just as important as it was for my family to accept you, it was important for your family and your kids to accept me and our relationship. And I feel like then, I think there was like a pivoting moment where the kids kind of was like, oh, she's just not,
She's gonna be around.
Yeah. Another one was, I think we have a lot of good times where we laugh together, like we joke around a lot. And when we had went swimming with the sharks or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you basically saved my life. Saved my life.
That's when you jumped in the water.
Yeah.
And I looked down and you were like drowning.
Uh-huh.
And I thought at first you were just playing, but then you were just like flailing about. So then I jumped in after you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I was thinking. Then you tried to drown me, like grabbed me and tried to drag me under, and I
didn't try to jet on you. I was panicking.
I know, you were panicking. You grabbed onto me and I had to push you off, and then you really freaked out.
You guys, this man saved my life.
Mm. Yeah.
Nobody else was paying attention. I could
drank lots of salt water.
Oh,
I
yeah,
thought you were
and then
going to be really sick.
After we got back on the boat, then we had a good laugh at the situation.
Took a long time. You think?
Yeah, it did. Like it's very rare that you just meet somebody and you just fall in love with them instantly. I think it takes time, but
I think you really like people,
mm-hmm.
and that you feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're cognizant of your emotions, then you're very kind of cautious with it and,
mm-hmm.
and reserved,
mm-hmm.
And I think for me, I realized it when I was just extremely comfortable around you.
Oh.
That was the thing for me. I was just extremely.
How did you know you were extremely comfortable? Like, what was?
I just was always
significant.
I was just always extremely comfortable around you, and there was no. You never made me feel uncomfortable
mm-hmm.
About anything.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt like I was being judged. I never felt like I had to act a certain way or be a certain way. That was it.
I think the way for me how I fell in love with you is through friendship first. I think that I'm not one to call anybody my best friend at all, or use like the word love loosely,
or
like
you're not
or express emotion or like to someone like at all. Like I keep that shit like
you do you don't
I'm not like openly like emotional person.
Now you do give subtle clues when something's bothering you or you're now being real happy. You're not real good about hiding, but when you're upset about something, you'll quiet down a little bit, and you do give some clues that something's bothering you. And typically I let it bother you for a little bit so that I can figure out what's
on my nerves.
So I can figure out what it is on my own. And most of the time it's nothing earth shattering. It's not like
Yeah, but I think that I agree with what you're saying. I think that the way I fell in love with you is you became my best friend first. Like you were like you were always the first person that I would call to like talk about something or discuss anything. And I'm not the type of person who just picks up the phone and talks and calls people and like have a conversation. So I think that first that, and then you were always there when I needed you. Like constantly there, no matter what. Like anytime
even when you think you didn't, and usually it was something to solve.
Yeah, and I'm comfortable with you, like you said.
Right, you can just say whatever you needed to say.
We're not judgmental with each other. Like we're very open-minded, and we can have a conversation and not feel like, oh, this person is gonna look at me different or treat me different because I think this way, or I said this, or I did this. You know what I mean?
And I'm pretty patient with you.
Yeah, and you're very patient.
Very patient.
And I'm not the most patient person.
Not at
He's
all.
like my yin to my yang.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, yin to yang. So, I will say in the beginning, hell no. No, no, no. And I think the main reason why I'm talking about my mom. Main reason why my mom wasn't supportive in the beginning is because, first of all, and I understand, like, when you have a child, you know, you want to protect them, you want to be always, you have this idea of what you want their life to be like. You know what I mean? Like, already predestined what you think that their life should be like. And when your child grows up, and they start formulating their own ideas about something, they start discovering what it is they like and what they don't like and what they want to deal with and what they want to deal with, then that can become hard. So I think the biggest reason why my mom wasn't supportive in the beginning is because, first of all, I'm her firstborn child. She already has this idea of how she wants my life to be like, or what she thought my life would be like, or how she thought I would be in a relationship with.
She was being protective of you.
Yeah.
She didn't want to see you get hurt.
Yeah.
And she didn't have a fundamental understanding of who I was at all.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just like, okay,
just sees
this guy is, I'm just going to use this girl until he finds the new flavor of the day and move on
Right.
and that kind of thing and go. And, that's my baby we're talking about, and I would feel the same way if I was her. And I even told her as much, because the first time that we were alone, she just started grilling me, and she's like, well, but then I think throughout the day as we were doing things, and then when we went to dinner later, throughout dinner, she starts seeing our interaction because, to equate that to people that I've been around, they always have this, well, just this girl's with you because you take care of her. That's what I think people's perception for a long time was.
That's what people's perception of an age gap relationship.
Right,
they don't know anything differently.
Then, well, like Liz and Ron, when we went to Chicago, we come back and Ron's like, man, I really owe you an apology. And I'm like, for what?
This
and he goes,
is one of his employees.
Yeah, one of my employees. Yeah, and he was just like, I really thought that, this bimbo was like your sugar baby or something.
Bimbo?
Yeah,
Jesus, he called me a bimbo?
Well, that's what his going in thing was,
Okay.
his end, starting out. And then he's like, well, it couldn't be further from the truth. He goes, you guys are more of a couple, and Liz and I, we have a child together, been together 5 years, and you guys are more of a couple, more of affection and doing things and more dynamic than we ever could possibly even be.
That's what I think that people miss when they see someone in an age gap relationship, or see somebody who's older with somebody who's younger, they don't really see the actual relationship. And honestly, we have more of a healthy relationship than
a lot of people.
90% of the couples we know, you know what I mean? Or
we never seem to have the real deep drama.
No.
And my mom, I mean, she was the same way. She's like, okay, Skipper, don't get yourself hurt. She's young.
Skipper is
and that's my
nickname by his mom.
And one of several I have. But anyway, she said, Skipper, don't get yourself, in a situation where you're going to get hurt. She's a young, pretty girl, and she might have other intentions. And keep that in the back. And when your mama tells you that, you keep those things in the back of the mind.
Just like when my mom tells me things,
right.
You
keep those things in the back of your mind, and then, and the thing is, people like self-fulfilling prophecies. People like to say,
I told you this.
I called that out of the gate, didn't I? I was absolutely right. That's exactly what's going on here, and that kind of stuff.
People want to be right.
Even more so for us, because not only are we in an age gap relationship or an interracial relationship, and, I had a lot of people really question me with that. Like,
oh my gosh, that's a whole nother dynamic.
That was really difficult. But people that I really care about their opinion or whatnot, which that list is very, very short, I might add. They were all very, very supportive because they knew about me and the content of my character and know where I'm coming from. And I think that what was good for us and our relationship, particularly with your mom, is that as we spent time together and went things, then she got to understand more about me and the content of my character, and realized that I did care and that I wasn't going anything and it wasn't going to do anything or go anywhere. So I think that I got a vote of confidence, and now I think that she's 100% on board with the idea and likes and realizes that her baby girl, is not only in a loving relationship but is protected and cared about just as she would do.
And I will say that if you're dealing with, your family, because you're not in a conventional relationship with somebody else that they feel like you should be, usually your worst thoughts are in your head.
Sometimes, yeah.
More than likely, they're in your head, and more than likely, it takes time and patience. Like just as much as you have to get to know somebody and, you know, get in a relationship and feel like you trust them and all sort of stuff, that's as much time as it takes for your family to do that too, because it's like them also
even longer because they don't have that interaction all the time.
So it's like them dating your partner as well. And yes, in the beginning it won't be easy, but I promise you, the more they see that you're in a healthy relationship, the more they see that the person that you're with really cares about you and you really care about them.
Mm-hmm.
That was another big point with my mom too. She told me, you know, she knew about you, but she was like, I didn't really see that you were all the way into it until committed, and that's why she didn't.
Right.
She wasn't just jump on board.
Right.
Yeah,
she didn't feel like you were committed.
Yeah. And once I did that, then it was like, okay, this guy is here. He's staying here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it takes time. It takes time. It takes patience. So transitioning the conversation from the questions we were asked, I don't think I have any more at the moment. When did you propose?
I know when, exactly.
I know when.
Okay.
July
Mm-hmm.
the 8th.
She gets a bullet through the head.
See, this is like, so with me and Ray's relationship, like I said, we're yin and yang. So things that I fall short of, he, you know, picks up, and things that he falls short in.
Which is not very much.
Oh my goodness. I, you know, pick up and make up for, you know, so we really balance each other out as far as a couple when it comes to things. I'm not so emotional. Ray's very in tune with his emotions.
Yeah, I like to throw dishes against the wall.
Oh my God, let's not talk about that. It's for another conversation, not this one. But yeah.
Second.
What?
July
2nd. I knew that. I was gonna say the first, but I knew that was wrong, so I chose 8. So he proposed July 2nd, and during COVID, and what we were working on our house.
Yeah, it really messed up our plans bad.
I wanted to ask you this question. We can talk about it right now. What was your original plan when you proposed?
Oh, my original plan. Okay, well, we were, can't say any locations. We were gone on the weekend. Okay. And we'd gone to different places, and we were talking about, we were just walking through a mall, but not here. We were away somewhere.
Okay. Atlanta.
Yeah, I think we were in Atlanta. And, you know, I thought about it a little bit, and, you know, we were talking about different scenarios and whatnot. And then we'd gone somewhere, and I'm not sure what store we'd gone into. I don't know if it was what kind of jewelry store it was and whatnot, and we were talking. And then we were walking, and, you know, people kept referring to you, and they've always referred to you
as your wife.
As my wife. You know, I mean.
From the beginning.
From the beginning, yeah. From the like the first time we took a trip together, like the very first night, we get ready to go to dinner, and we stop, and somebody says, hey, want me to take a picture of you and your wife? And I'm just like, and actually, that was what really planted the seed. We got dressed to go to dinner at this resort, and we were walking, and one of the, photographer comes up, says, like, take a picture, and I just thought, well, wow. I mean, prior to that, I'd never really give it serious thought, how that would all partake together. But then it happened subsequently many times, and I always felt like it made you uncomfortable or bothered you, so I never never said anything about it.
For me, because we were dating and you were older than me, it actually made me comfortable when somebody referred to me as your wife, because it made me feel like they took our relationship or us seriously, and not just, oh, that's your sugar baby.
Right. And that was, unfortunately, it seemed like it was always in some distant land.
Yeah.
You know, and that it was always in some distant land where they were maybe more progressive or, you know, thinking what's going on. But then, like I said, we were in Atlanta, and, you know, I don't remember exactly what was said, but you said to me, well, if I was asked, I would say yes. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then I even said at the time, well, I'll keep that in mind for future reference. But when we came back from Atlanta, you know, I started thinking about, okay, let's just like think about how things are going here. And we had a lot going on, you know, and then wintertime came, you know, and then it got to be springtime, and I thought, well, I had several conversations with the jeweler about getting your ring. I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and get a ring, but I was wanted to wait until like basically around Valentine's Day or something like that, or your birthday. But then the whole COVID thing hit, and I kept expecting it to like,
Let
you know,
up,
in
right.
3 or 4 weeks it's going to be over. In 3 or 4 weeks it's going to be over. You know,
Because in that
and then
beginning stage, it was like,
Right.
oh, this is just like the flu, a really bad flu.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, January comes and goes, and February comes and goes, and I long have the ring. You know, March comes and goes, your birthday comes and goes, and April, May, and June comes and goes, and I'm just like, and I think, you know, because when I first got your ring, I showed a couple people. I showed your best friend, and I showed your mom, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's a 6-month gap, and they're like, when I see them, I'm like, what's going on? Did you change your mind or whatever? Of course, in the course of all this, we bought this home that we're in now, and of course, we're working a lot on this house, you know, and we're basically living together at that point in time. You know, where prior to that, we really didn't live together.
No, it was just like, you would come to St. Louis to, you know, we would spend time together, and then you would go back to West Frankfort, your home. Yeah. And then, or I would come out there and spend a couple days or whatever, and then come back. Yeah.
But then I just realized that the circumstances weren't going to change, and they still haven't changed even to now. You know, they're, even a year later, they still are really basically, we're back still at square one, really.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, if we're going to do this, then we need to kind of plan and whatnot. So then
So you were originally planning to propose on Valentine's Day or my birthday?
Or something, you know, I like every time I started initiating a plan, you know, it just, I felt like it got circumvented. You know, like I was trying real hard to make it, you know, maybe more grandiose than it needed to be. And then finally, you know, I just felt like that you were questioning, you know, my commitment to what was going on, and you know, whether or not there was any permanency to what I was saying or whatnot, even though I don't feel like I ever did anything to demonstrate that I was in anything but all in. I said, okay. And, you know, we had gone to dinner, and I thought about it a lot at dinner, you know, and then we had some conversations, and I'm like, okay, well, clearly her thinking is not on board with what my thinking is as far as what my position is. And then I just said, and I'd already kind of like, pretty much knew what I was going to say, but I didn't like rehearse it. It was pretty much off the cuff, and I wanted it to be, you know, sincere, you know, and going. And that's how it was. You know, I didn't need to be some grandiose thing. I kind of wanted to be, I felt like that either your mom, which I figured would be the biggest culprit, because I didn't feel like she could keep a secret, or your friend, your best friend, or your bestie. I thought, you know, because they both question me basically every time I see them. Why haven't you said nothing yet? Why haven't you said nothing? When's it gonna happen? When? I said, when I'm ready. You know, when I get an opportunity. And I kind of felt like that one of them had said something about, you know, a ring, and you were going to be proposed to. And what was really funny is, you know, you slept with the ring like basically 3 feet from her, 2 feet from your head every night for 4 or 5 months.
You're lying.
I'm not lying. I put it underneath the bed in a box, taped it to the back of the headboard, and it was right there by your head the entire time. And I knew you would never look there. I knew you would look, but I knew you wouldn't look there because it was too obvious. So I always had that. Are you serious? I always had that fear that I was going to come home because you like to move furniture and stuff around. And I thought, nah, she'll never move the bed because it's too much work. So, and I thought, yeah. So, yeah.
You serious?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And I basically had to take the mattress off the bed and take the drawers out and move everything back to get the box out. And then I moved it downstairs And then, it was downstairs for like maybe 3 weeks because I was trying to pick a
my
time.
cousin had came over and he told me like.
Oh yeah, Wanano.
Yeah, he was like, he hid that so well. You were never gonna find that ring.
Yeah, see, so you didn't know about it.
I didn't know about it. He didn't tell me this until recently.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
But anyways, I felt like the people would tell me that there was a ring, and then I was looking for a surprise time. And, we'd gone to dinner a couple times, and I was just like, I actually took it with me to dinner a couple times.
Really?
And I was just like, okay. And then, I was like, okay, well, this isn't quite what I wanted. And I think the problem is that it was never going to be
the right time.
The thing.
Yeah.
And I was trying to make it special for you, and then I just said, you know what? Some of the comments that you made that when we were had dinner were kind of tense, and I'm just like, she really feels like that I could move on at any moment. She really, really feels like that. And my friends express the same thing, that sometimes that they feel like I just say, okay, that's it, get out, and you're done. You
are kind of like that type of personality.
Yeah, I am. They shared that with me, and I was like, oh, well, wait a minute, maybe I better lay my cards out on the table here. And I think that I laid them out pretty good, and I think that it was pretty much all in with it. And I said what I said, and I don't really want to share that, but the gist of it was, you're my best friend, and I wanted to keep my best friend.
We always have date night. Date night is very important with any relationship. You need to set aside a day of a week where you and your partner or whoever you're in a relationship with go on dates.
It's not negotiable.
You should continue to date your partner. It shouldn't be just like, oh, I have you and that's it, and I don't have to do anything to swoo you, or I don't have to put any effort in how I look or anything.
Where we go or anything.
You need to invest time in your relationship continuously.
Right. Your relationship, you need to put that time for your. And 2 or 3 hours out of an entire week is not that big a deal.
No.
Most people spend more of that laying around and watching TV or something like that. Get up off your ass. And take your girl out to dinner. You don't even have to go out to dinner. You can go to the park. Dinner seems to be our favorite thing. We've always done, even since our first date. We went to eat on our first date. I don't think we've missed a date since then, and we didn't get some kind of food somewhere. Always. Yeah. Even if we just see each other passing, hey, let's meet over here and have a sandwich. Even if we were just going to spend a few minutes together or just have a talk. It was always that way. And Ronnie's a fabulous cook. And sometimes I'd say, hey, look, I can't spend much time, but we'll come by, I'll make you something. Or, come and see me and make something. So it's very important that you put that first, above yourself, above your partner. You put the relationship there. Yeah. And so that that your partner knows that your relationship is important. And it's okay. I'm not saying that it's not, the world's going to end if you don't have date night, but pretty much it will. I think that they crack open and just suck you in, and that'll be the end of it.
You don't know how many of my girlfriends I hear where they're like, oh, he doesn't want to get up and do anything. Oh, he doesn't want to go here. Oh, all we do is sit in the house.
Right, watch TV.
Oh my God.
The couch and TV is really bad on relationships. You can watch TV when you get back from going in. It doesn't have to be, you could do so many different things, like just go on a bike ride. We bought bikes to go on a bike ride. We take the dogs to the park. Yeah. It doesn't have to be around food. For us, it just happens to be a coincidence. But date night, very, very important.
Yeah. But yeah, we had date night, and I think that's another thing. We had a conversation. We were talking. And I think it was a very important conversation. I'm not going to say I think. It was a very important conversation that we had. We never really argue with each other. Into this house and you're deciding, well, this is going to be this color and this is going to be like this, that you start butting heads with your partner, or we started butting heads with each other about picking certain things out. But we really don't argue with each other. And that's something that I really value. Like, we can have a conversation with each other and we can hear each other out. Or even if we don't think the other person is hearing each other out, we don't try to fight unfairly.
Right. We our disagreements are very, very fair.
Yeah.
Even though we don't want to hear the message that's coming,
Yeah.
or the criticism that may be coming, or the validation of, because most time when you screw up, you don't want to hear that you screwed up.
No, you don't.
But sometimes your partner needs to hear you say, I messed up, I'm sorry, this happened, or I did this, or I said that, and this has hurt your feelings, and typically we're like, okay, what can we do to make this up to you? Like you were talking earlier about, making decisions on the house. I have a plethora of experience working on houses and how things go, and this is basically Ronnie's first remodel. So I'm very pious and like, this is how we're doing things, and that's the end of it. And then she comes and says, well, I'd like this or I'd like that, and it would just way piss me off that I felt like she's attacking my competency when in fact she's trying to learn what's going on.
Yeah.
And I like the light in this room in here. She goes, I want to put this light up. I should have had her done that on day one, because if I would have, she'd have had a better fundamental understanding of just because these things look easy, they're not easy.
That's the thing, I think that's an important message in conversations, being humble enough to admit that you're wrong and trying to correct and work on what it is that you messed up on, or what it is that you're not so good at. A lot of times we as people, we have this idea that we can do no wrong, we know everything, and that's not the case. Anytime with anybody, even if you've been in a long relationship before, you're still learning how to be in a relationship with this new person.
Right, because people change.
Yeah.
They don't stay exactly the same.
You have to learn what this person, how they want to be loved, what they find,
Grow with them.
Yeah, grow with them. And that's important.
I'm not a good gift receiver.
No.
Not at all. I mean, it's it's fruitless to try to give me a gift. It really is. I mean, it's just like, okay, you on the other hand, you really like gifts. They could be a paper clip and you're like, oh my God, a paper clip! Oh my God, this is the best paper clip ever. Okay, and then you'll set it down and say, okay, where's the paper go with it? Oh yeah, I mean, and the thing is, that is also good for me because I like giving, because I'm very generous when it comes to that. I'm always looking, how much I care about you and my consistency of, you got everything you need.
Okay, so back to the story. We had a really important conversation. We actually rode our bikes to this Magia on Tower Grove. It's an Italian restaurant that we went to. And I think we ordered pizza. We split a pizza. And I think it got really late and it was dark outside by the time we came. We rode our bikes there, so it was probably we
were there a long time.
Yeah, it was a 15-minute bike ride, and then we were there for a couple of hours, and then it got dark. It was around 9:30 when we left, so it was really dark.
It was dark. It was late and it was dark.
And it was a summer day, which was nice, so we just rode our bikes back to the house, and Ray, he was putting the bikes in the house because we have a problem with theft around here. So we put the bikes in the house, and I was in the kitchen. I was about to straighten up the kitchen, and you come in and you're like, can you go upstairs? Can you go upstairs for a second? And I'm like, why? Why do I need to go upstairs? She's like, I just need to talk to you about something. It's very important. Can you just go upstairs?
She was just like, oh, haven't we talked enough? And that precipitated a lot of it, that made in my mind is I could tell by the context of the conversation we'd had earlier that I'm not going to say that you needed reassurances, but you needed something. I think that you were worried. I think you were very concerned about where I was at, that you weren't sure where I was at, that maybe I wasn't as committed as I demonstrated that I was. I think that you'd had concerns about that, and I'd picked up on that, and I didn't want you to feel like that, and that's what flipped the switch and said, okay, we've got to make this happen now, because she doesn't feel secure in what's going on, or maybe as secure as I would like for you to feel, I guess I should say.
Well,
I can't speak for how you feel. I don't know.
It's a big step for anybody, even for you, for us to move into this house together.
Right.
That's a big step. Anytime you take that step to living with somebody and you give up everything that you
watching whatever program you want to watch, eating whatever you want to watch, you know.
Going to sleep whenever you want to go to sleep.
Stuff is always where you leave it. Wow, that's a novel concept.
Oh my goodness, because you leave it in the wrong spot all the time. You asked me to go upstairs and I was fighting you. I was like, why do I need to go upstairs? What you mean go upstairs? Why? Why you just
because you were tense. Like, you were stressed. I mean, you basically you had laid out there to me and questioned my commitment. You know, at dinner, and I didn't respond in the way that you.
You never respond in the way that I want you to respond.
You want me to respond. You know, but I knew, you know, and I didn't really 100% make up my mind until, I came in the house and I was just like, okay, I need to really put this to bed and make sure that we're all on the same page moving forward. You know, that she's stressed over this. She needs not to be stressed over this. She needs to be focused on these other things. She needs to be focused on us and our relationship and not whether she should have an exit strategy or not. Because I think that was, you know, I don't feel like you ever thought that you had to have one, but I felt like that you were insecure about it, that you didn't know where.
Well, I think we both had a lot invested in our relationship for it not to go any further than what it was. You know, we moved into a house. I'm openly open with you being my boyfriend at this time, and on every level, I think. And you moved, you know, an hour and a half away, and I mean, there's no other where to go but to, you know. And
it wasn't happening. Yeah. You know, 3 months goes by, 6 months go by, and it's not happening, and I could tell that you were questioning.
Please just go upstairs, and I was like, finally I just gave up my fight, and I was like, okay, I'm going upstairs. In that moment, I didn't know what to think. I was just like, because you were kind of like very adamant about me going upstairs, and I was just like, I was literally, I did not know what was going on. I did not know what was going on.
But you were concerned it'd be the worst.
Yeah, you always prepare for the worst. But yeah, so I go upstairs, and literally you're taking forever downstairs. You're like, literally 5, 6, 7 minutes downstairs, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, why do I need to come upstairs? Why you just can't?
She's trying to sharpen a knife or what?
Why can't
he looking for the axe? What?
Why can't he just have his little conversation with me downstairs in the kitchen? What's going on? Like, I don't know what is going on. And then you come upstairs, and you go, can you sit down on the bed? And I'm like, why do I need to sit on the bed? Like, why? Like, what's going on? And you can just tell me, why do I need to sit down? So I'm looking at you, and this is when I knew, okay? This is when I knew. I have never, in all of our time together, seen you look like you were nervous. I've never,
Yeah,
and I'm looking at your body language, and you're literally like shaking and sweating. And I've never seen, I'm not even being dramatic. You were sweating. I
just got off a bike ride.
No.
Climbed the stairs. It was hot. It was July. It was hot.
No. You were sweating and you were shaking. And I look you up and down. I look you up and down, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? What's going on? Are you okay? Like, what's going on? And then I look you up and down, and I look at your pocket, and I see a little box. I see a box. In this moment, I already know what's going on. This big ass smile comes on my face, and I didn't turn it off until I went to sleep. But yeah, you got on your knee, and you took my hand. Your hand was sweating.
Because I've been on a bike ride.
It was sweating.
I've been on a bike ride.
No. We're not
long bike ride.
We're not gonna. You was sweating, and you were looking me in my eyes, and you gave me like this 5-minute speech.
Was it a good one?
I couldn't tell you if it was good or not. I'm gonna be honest.
Wow.
I can't remember anything you told me.
So give me the ring. Give me the ring. Where's it at? I want to see it.
I couldn't remember anything, but I know whatever you were saying, you really meant it.
Really?
I know that.
I really meant it. As opposed to not really meaning when I normally say things?
No, you really meant it because, like, I could read your body language. Like, this was an important thing that you were doing. You got on your knee, and you were down there for a while. I was like, it's okay, you can get up. You can get up now. But you were down there for a while. And you take this box out, and you go, what'd you say?
Can I take this back to the store now? Isn't that what I said?
No.
No?
No, that's not what you said. You said, will you marry me? And literally, this is the smile that I had on that day. Like, my cheeks hurt right now. But yeah, that's what you did. And then you put the ring on. And...
Let the phone calls begin.
I'm engaged, honey. I was married now. Oh my goodness. So yeah. Yeah, I think we relished in it for about 10 minutes. And then I had to call my mom and tell her.
It wasn't 10 minutes. More like a minute and 10 seconds.
Well, that minutes and seconds felt like 10 minutes to me. But yeah, you proposed. And I called my mom. And I didn't come out right away and say that you had proposed. I kind of like was just thinking that she would just notice the ring. So I was just like, oh my God. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. Something's going on. I don't know. Like, I'm like this. And she's not catching on at all. Does not notice. She's not paying attention. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, like, I need help, I don't know. She's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I really don't know, like, something's going on, something just happened. She's like, what's going on? I'm about to hang up on you. And I'm like, Ray proposed. And she's like, oh, finally?
Yeah.
Finally? You finally proposed? I'm like, oh, okay, so you knew.
She knew a long time.
She knew, yeah. And she was like, what'd you say? I said, I got it on, don't I? So that means I said yes. But yeah, I was on the phone with her for about, I would say, 10 minutes. By this time, it's like late. It's like 11 o'clock. So, yeah. And then I called my best friend, Liz, and I did the same thing with her. She didn't catch on either.
Not for about 20 seconds.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, he proposed! Oh my God, I'm so happy for you guys! But yeah, and those were the two people that I told initially. My family and my best friend, and yeah. And it wasn't until like October, like September, I would say, that I actually announced it on like social media.
Well, you were trying to like...
I was trying to get like, you know, some fancy schmancy over dramatic thing, but it just never happened. But these types of situations, like, it's not needed. Like,
right, it's not
especially
needed.
for our type of relationship. All of this extra extravagant this show you put on is not needed. So yeah, that was how Ray proposed. That was the whole shindig. But yeah. Well, I think we're done here. What do you think? Awesome. Okay. We're done, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you liked our little chit chat. And if you want to see more of us, then just hit that subscribe button, comment below. You know, if you have any questions regarding being in an age gap relationship, feel free to reach out. I mean, we are more than happy to give advice and, you know, help or inspire, you know. But yeah, if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.